What's up, beautiful peeps? I hope that this is clear and you can hear me. Let's rock. Breath. This isn't going to be the longest training because this is really going to be experiential for you. And you can, watch a video of just about anything and hear the instructions or see the instructions, and it doesn't bring you any closer to having the skill until you actually experience it. And that's what today's training is about. And really tomorrow's, or I'm not sure if I'm going up tomorrow, but the next training, probably in the next couple of days, is the same. Youth is in your breath. And I know that you've all heard about breath work and, in yoga and mindfulness, it always comes back to breath. And I think that we've overdone it a bit. And what I want to do today is I want to talk actually about shame first, then get into breath, and then how you're going to use it to bring yourself into what I call omnipresence, which is super powerful. So let's start. First and foremost, literally the number one cause of free radicals in your body, and free radicals are what age you quickly. The number one cause of this increase in free radicals in your system is shame, peeps. Shame. And we do that to ourselves constantly. It's so incessant we barely even realize it's happening. Shame is what causes us to suppress our feelings. It cuts us off from the true expression of ourselves. It pushes us into believing and thinking that other people's rules and opinions are more important than our own. And it just simply makes us feel guilty, and it creates that self-deprecating inner chatter, right? That places so much stress on the body. We're living this way, right? For decades, bathing in shame. Our cells are bathing in toxicity, and it's decaying us. I know that when I went through some personal changes and I started to go on my, internal quest to really get to the root of my shame, right? To discover what it was. Once I saw where it was coming from, and I used my breath, right? I used my breath to get there, and I'm going to unpack that in a second. But once I saw where that was coming from, and when I took those beliefs on that, I wasn't enough, I was able to dissolve them. And then I was able from there to lay down new beliefs about being worthy, about choosing awesome, about fully expressing myself and appreciating each moment in this omnipresence. So when I did this, literally a shit ton of biological stuff started shifting and happening, and it was effortless. 35 pounds fell off my body. I felt more radiant than I ever did. I slept so much more soundly. I felt more sensual. I set personal records, in my races that I run. And here's the thing, and my skin started glowing again, and my heart rate and my breathing were in rhythm. Things started to be in sync. My cravings for salty food started to just disappear and dissolve. All right, there were so many massive physiological changes. And so we're going to use breath in a very specific way. And we're going to use it to really start to tune in to where we're shaming ourselves. Because again, shame is the root cause of free radicals in our system. So getting into our breath immediately starts to take us into a place where we can stimulate our vagus nerve. And our vagus nerve here, right? And it's responsible for igniting our parasympathetic nervous system. Our parasympathetic nervous system is the antidote to our sympathetic nervous system. When we stimulate our sympathetic drive, that's our fight or flight. That's when we're secreting cortisol. That's when we're secreting adrenaline, dopamine, and our bodies go into this danger, right? So when we're in shame, we experience danger chronically. Our bodies are shame doesn't feel good, right? If you tune into that in your body, you're going to see that shame feels icky. And there's a reason for that, because it's a lie. And lies feel dark and heavy. So if you're listening to your body sensations as you're in this shame mode, you can actually feel contracted. And again, that's because you've ignited your sympathetic nervous system. What breathing does, first and foremost, and before we even get into some ways of doing it and when we can tap in with it, breathing in these ways stimulates our vagus nerve to send signals to our brain to start to come back to a state of rest. And in this place, we secrete serotonin, oxytocin, melatonin, our feel-good hormones, our sleep hormones, our rest and repair and recover hormones. From this place, we secrete human growth hormone, elastin, even a little bit of relaxin, right? This is the luscious deliciousness of healing and repair that we get to bathe ourselves in instead of the free radical damage that we create. Okay. So that's the purpose. Is first, where are we going to identify like the shame? Where's it coming from? How is it feeling in our bodies when we feel it? And if it's feeling not so good, then that's where we get to start. And from this place is when we're going to add in some wonderful breathing. So let me start with this and frame this breath work up. We're talking about shame, and it usually is tied to our self-worth. And the beauty here is, and I want you, or I invite you to write this down, I do not need to prove my worth. I am breathing. I am worthy. It's more than presence, right? When you start to tap into your breath, inhaling and exhaling, you become present with it. But breath brings you the greatest gift in our human experience, omnipresence, which is literally like the essence of youthfulness. Omnipresence is our divinity shining through us in the moment, knowing that the past is gone and the future doesn't exist. So youthfulness, if you watch a little kid, they are in this omnipresence. They are in the blessing and the rapture of the exact moment that it is. Completely intoxicated, completely enveloped in what is in front of them. The joy of Legos, the joy of smelling a flower, right? In their divinity and in their light, they're connecting deeply with their souls, and they're letting their souls move them through each minute. They're tapped in. Your breath can bring you back there, right? Anytime there's anxiety, stress, or overwhelm, your system will automatically pull you into these survival patterns where you're going to start to secrete all of those hormones I mentioned before that are driving you to do this fight or flight. And that's great, right? It's there to protect us. But the opportunity here is to actually step into a new experience. So you're going to use your breath. And here's what we're going to do. This doesn't have to be complicated, right? This isn't about like box breathing and breathe in one breath count and out two and in. No. This is about body awareness. Okay? So you could do this anytime. And I suggest that when you feel less than awesome, when you feel body sensations that feel icky, this is an opportunity for you to tap in and start breathing. And you can do it with intention. You can do it, I'm feeling funky. Why is that? Tune into that. What sensation am I feeling? Oh, my stomach feels tight. And you can start to see like your brain is labeling it, right? And then before you step into the judgment, like, I shouldn't be feeling anxious. I should be feeling on point. I should be doing these things. That's when you're going to breathe. That's when you're going to go. And you're going to invite new sensations. You're going to invite the sensations of light energy into your physical body. How do you do that? Pick a body part. I often recommend to my clients, like, pick the body part that seems to cause you shame and pain, and focus your attention there. And just start breathing. You can do this right now, right? Start breathing and you're intentional, asking some questions, getting really curious. It's in play, it's in wonder. Why do I have such shame attached to my belly? What is that about? Just continue to breathe in and literally place pink healing light around that body part. Next thing you're going to do is then, as you're breathing, start to circulate that energy all throughout your body, like a wave flowing, right? Just starting at the head, your crown chakra, all the way through. Let it rush down through your solar plexus, down through your toes, and then come back up. And just let it wash over you in totality as this breath is coming in and out, knowing that you're stepping into omnipresence. And then go back to that body part again and ask again, If you start to feel distracted, there's no judgment here. Let the thoughts pass, right? Just pay attention to the light that you're sending into that body part. Now, as you inhale, I want you to inhale with the feeling of you are in an expansive place, right? As you inhale, you're not vertically breathing, which is what we mostly do, which is just from like a very shallow place. What I want you to do is, as you inhale, I want you to breathe in and be expansive and open up your chest cavity and open up the lungs and take that oxygen down into the lower lobe of your lung. And as you do that, when you inhale abundance. You literally inhale the bounty accessible to all of us. And you let that wash over you in that flow from crown chakra down through solar plexus, down to the toes and back up. And then you let it surface right where you're sending light into that body part you may be shaming. And then as you exhale, you're going to surrender. You're going to surrender to God or the universe or whoever you subscribe to. And you're going to say, I see the pain, I'm aware of it. I see the shame, I'm aware of it. And then just let it be surrendered back to source. And now you've opened yourself up to receive your intuition with maybe some answers. So that's the breath work I want you to tap into. Now, pulling it all back together. Every single time you do this process, so I feel it, like I'm very, very, very aware of my body. So even just guiding you through that breath, I was actually having a little anxiety before, and it lives in my tummy, and I usually get little knots in my tummy. And it's interesting because my tummy is where I shame. Like I hold shame there. Like, I feel good about my body, my fitness, but it always comes back to like, I criticize my stomach. So when I'm there, it's interesting because that's where I also feel my anxiety, and I start to feel distended and bloated, and then I'd shame it. And so I was feeling a little anxiety before. It was living in my stomach. And as I was even guiding you through this, I could feel the release. And I could literally feel that distension kind of just dissipate. It's very, very powerful. As you go through this work and stimulate your vagus nerve, and you come into what we call vagal tone as physiologists, you are literally secreting thousands of chemicals solely responsible for restoring, repairing, and replenishing your cells. That's fucking magic. So, I invite you to start to practice some intentional breathing around your shame and allow it to be part of how you single-handedly take back your age one cell at a time. Amazingness. I'm so excited. Please comment below. Let me know what comes up for you. Let me know what you need from me. I am here to guide you, to support you, to hold your hand, to be a fairy godmother, to literally light the path. So wherever you're getting stuck, throw a comment below, or just let me know how amazing you feel doing this work. You freaking own your breath, and it never goes anywhere. You always have it with you. You always have a tool for beautiful youth serum. You just gotta tap into it. So We're going to start to release that shame. We're going to start to bathe ourselves in that lovely healing pink light. Mwah, mwah. Love you guys. Peace.